Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum class. Welcome to English grade 11 students. Today we are going to cover yet another SLO of unit number 3. Yes, we are on lecture number 3. Our unit is 3 and we are going to cover this student's learning outcome, and it is directly related to your grammar because we are going to talk about punctuation mark hyphen, which looks like a dash. So we will observe the hyphenation conventions or rules of using the punctuation mark hyphen. Now there are so many rules for this. Why? Because if you don't use them correctly, then the meaning will be changed. Now we are going to see all these different rules that are here with us. Now, you are aware of what punctuation is. Why do we punctuate our text when we are writing it? And why do we use all these different punctuation marks? And one of them is hyphen. Can you name some more punctuation marks? Yes, it's full stop, comma, hyphen, there are dashes, n dash, m dash, question mark, exclamation mark, quotation marks, parentheses, and so on. So, we are going to talk about hyphen today. Let's see what a hyphen is. A hyphen, which looks like this, just this small dash, is a punctuation mark used to join words. What is it used for? To join words or parts of words together. For example, well-known. He's a well-known writer. So well-known, we know that it is made up of two words, but they are connected using this hyphen. So well-known is a word in its own. It has a meaning. Well-known means reputable, famous, well-known. Long-term, something which is going on for a long period, we call it long-term. It can be an agreement, it can be any event, etc. This is also joined by hyphen. Mother-in-law. You can see two different hyphens over here. Yes. So it means there can be more than one hyphen mark in your word. When we are using these hyphens, we join words together as we talked about over here. We join and connect our words. Now, hyphen is not to be taken lightly or easily because this is one of the most complicated punctuation marks over there that we have. So we need to be very much careful and we need to know all the rules, almost all of them, to better punctuate our text with hyphens. Now, here let's look at this example. I hope that you can see it on the screen. Small business owner. It has no hyphen versus small business owner having a hyphen between small and business. Let's see how this is really different. Next example is $25 bills versus $25 bills. Recreate versus recreate. Now, they almost look the same, identical, but the hyphen will change the meaning. For the first example, students, small business owner. Now, it means that the business owner is small, maybe in height, maybe in his influence, or maybe the scale of the business, right? Small business owner. We are talking about the adjective of our subject, owner. But here, small business owner, small business, you will read this word together, small business owner. It means that the business is small. We are not talking about the owner over here. Here we were talking about the owner. So you can see that if we include hyphen, punctuation mark, the meaning will be changed. Small business owner is an owner of a business who's small. But small business owner means that the business is small in its stature. Next, $25 bills. Now, this means that we have $5 bills. They are 20 in quantity. So So means we have 5, 5, 5 and $20 bills, 20 bills of $5. But here $25 bills means we have 25 of them. So this really changed the meaning. Recreate is a word, but recreate here, which is used as a prefix, is also having a different meaning. So the hyphens, when we're using them, we need to be using them carefully, because if not, then the meaning will be lost. So I hope that these three examples are enough to clarify the importance, the cruciality or the significance of hyphens. Now, why do we use hyphens? We use hyphens for clarity in our sentences, in our writing. Now, let's look at this rule. Since we are talking about conventions, convention means the rules that have been going on in grammar of English language, in the standard English grammar. Use a hyphen to avoid ambiguity or confusion in a sentence. Yes, that's why we use hyphens. We avoid confusion. Just like we saw over here, there was confusion between small business owner and small business owner. Now, for example, a man eating shark. What do you mean by this? It means that the shark is man eating. The shark eat men or man. But if I talk about this part, a man eating shark, it means that a man who is eating the shark. So you can see that the tables are totally turned. The whole meaning is changed. Shark eating man, a man eating shark has different meaning, and a man eating shark is different. So here, what is differentiating them? Simply, this is our punctuation mark hyphen, which is changing the meaning of our phrase or of our sentence. So this was a very good example of that. We use hyphen marks, hyphen punctuation marks for compound adjectives. We know that adjectives are used for modifying our subject or noun or pronoun. We give qualities, and that can be so many different qualities that we assign. So they are called our adjectives. Now, when we are having two different adjectives, more than one, we call them compound adjectives. Compound means having more than one. A well-known artist, well-known. This is an example of a compound adjective. What is it modifying? Our noun, artist. How is the artist? He is well known or she is well known. Next one, a part-time job. What kind of job it is? Job is our subject over here. What kind of job is it? It is a part-time. It means this is not for full-time, rather it's for part-time. So we combined two adjectives and call them compound adjectives, and in compound adjectives you can see hyphens all over your text, because for compound adjectives we use hyphens. Now, we also use hyphen punctuation mark for compound nouns when we have more than one noun, but it is serving as one noun. So that's why we call them compound nouns. Discuss hyphenated compound nouns. Let's discuss them. Example is mother-in-law. Mother-in-law. Now this is a noun, but it is made up of different words. Law is also our noun. This is our preposition. So two nouns, one preposition. What do they make? Mother-in-law, editor-in-chief, right? This is also made up of two nouns, editor and chief. So that's why it is called a compound noun. And to separate that from a preposition, we use the hyphen punctuation mark before and after our nouns. We also use hyphens, the hyphen punctuation mark, in our prefixes and suffixes. Yes, when we are talking about affixes, which include prefix and suffix, we tend to use our hyphen punctuation mark. For example, X or self, these are our prefixes, but we always use hyphen with it, as you can see over here. Or, for example, ex-president. Now, this is our prefix, this is also our prefix, and this is also our prefix. This is coming before our main word, right? Main word is president, steam, and enter. But we added a group of letters and we call them prefix because they are coming pre and before the word. And here you can see the use of hyphens very clearly on your screen. Now, we also use hyphens for numbers and fractions. For example, 21 is a number. When we are writing it in words, in spellings, we will use our hyphen in the middle. 3/4, this is a fraction written in alphabets, in letters. Again, we are using the hyphen, put punctuation mark in the middle. So we use it for compound nouns, for prefixes and suffixes, and also for numbers and fractions. So you can see that as we are learning about the conventions and different purposes of hyphens, we are discovering so many different scenarios in which we are using our hyphen punctuation mark. Okay, next one. You can see this example, these 2 or 3 examples. The 5-year-old child. It is better to write this compound noun by using our hyphen. The 5-year-old child. 5-year-old can be treated as our adjective because we are explaining the number, the age, and we are also mentioning the year, and old, which is quality of the child, our noun or subject. So instead of writing the 5-year-old with 5-year-old child without any hyphen, if you write it with hyphen, then this will be very much clear that the child is 5-year-old. Now, a well-written book. Again, when we are using compound adjectives, we have to use our hyphen. So this is the correct format, well-written book. It means that what kind of book is it? What is the quality? I mean, what is the adjective of the book? So it is well-written. So this is quality of the book. And the third one is a 1/3 share. So it is better to write hyphen, a 1/3 share. Now, yes, there is a very big difference between these two. The meaning will be changed and the reader will think something else because there will be confusion of not using hyphens correctly. Now, let's look at this sentence, students. It is recommended you don't take down any load-bearing walls when renovating. This is incorrect because this sentence requires you to add your hyphen punctuation mark. But if we correct it, if we say it's recommended you don't take down any load-bearing walls when renovating. So load-bearing, what is it describing or telling us about? The walls. The walls are load-bearing walls. That's good. So you can see that the load-bearing, it requires you to add a hyphen because we are talking about adjective, which is modifying our noun. Now, let's look at some conventions and some rules. You never use a hyphen in place of a colon or a dash. Colon is different. 2 dots, vertical dots, they are called our colon. And dash is a little longer than hyphen. So you do not confuse hyphen with colon or dash. They are different. We don't use them for emphasis or to denote a break or pause. Now, next rule is that we do not use a hyphen in place of to or through. So you cannot replace hyphen with the prepositions. So you can only do them in dates. Here is an incorrect format: fall 2014, summer 2nd 2015. Now, this is not a right and conventional way of writing the date. Rather, you would write September 2/10 or September 2 or August, just like this. So, here, what do we have? We used hyphens to show the month and the year. Now, again, here we used in the first one, we used hyphen, but this is not in the correct format. So that's why that would be wrong if you do it. Now, we also use hyphens to join two or more words serving as a single adjective before a noun. A one-way street, chocolate-covered peanuts, well-known author. Again, we are talking about compound adjectives. This is also a very important rule, and by using it, you can clearly modify your noun. Street, peanut, or author. So, and these compound adjectives, they will be treated as one because they are joined with a hyphen. Now, we also use a hyphen with compound numbers. For example, 46, 63, our much loved teacher was 63 years old. Now, much loved is our adjective. What are we talking about? Our teacher. And here you can see that compound numbers, two numbers joined together, they are called compound numbers, and we separate them, we join them actually with our hyphen. So we also, in the same sentence, you can see a compound adjective and a compound number. So all of these things that we are learning here in this lesson, they are conventions of hyphens or hyphenation conventions. Now, we also use hyphen to avoid confusion or an awkward combination of letters. We don't want to say resign a petition versus resign from a job. So this is re-signing a petition. It means that we are signing again. But here you cannot say re-sign from a job because here you do not need any kind of hyphen. This is resigning, leaving from a job. Semi-independent, here you can use your hyphen semi-independent, which means something that is not fully independent. It is semi-independent. But you cannot use hyphen in the word semi-conscious. Shell-like. In this one, you use your hyphen. Shell-like, like a shell, it's an adjective. But for childlike, you cannot use it. Now, use a hyphen with the prefix or with suffixes. We have already talked about it. Ex-husband, self-assured, mid-September, all-inclusive, mayor-elect, T-shirt, pre-Civil War, mid-1980s. All of them are your prefixes and you have to use your hyphen punctuation mark. Let's see. What else do we use a hyphen for? When we are at the end of the line and our word is remaining, we move it to the next line, but we need to use a hyphen, a little dash, and make the break only between syllables. So if the syllables are broken down because the line is ended, then this is how you break down and write in the next line. So if you do not break it down clearly, then the reader will not be able to understand your message. Selling, individualist. So you can see that in order to break down the syllables, you can also use your hyphen punctuation mark. So breaking down syllables, just because there's not enough space and you're going to move to the next line, that's when you use your hyphens. They will save your letter into breaking down and losing its meaning. For line breaks, divide already hyphenated words only at the hyphen. So when we are dividing letters, because our line is ended, you will use it with hyphen. It means that hyphen should not go on the next line. It should always go with the end of the line where your word is ended. You write your hyphen over there and then the rest of the sentence. For example, here, let's say that the word is mass produced, but the line is ended here. There's not enough space. You will mention your hyphen and then go to the next line. Self, mention your hyphen, then go to the next line. Self-conscious, mass-produced. These are two words for our examples. So, what if we have a line break with the word ending in ing? If a single final consonant in the root word is doubled before the suffix, hyphenate between the consonants. So this is what is important. Otherwise, hyphenate at the suffix itself. So imagine we are at the end of the line, planning. This is how you break down for the next line. Not planning. This will be wrong. You have to write it like this. Plan, then N-I-N-G. This is the right way. You break it down with, and if you have a suffix, which means a group of letters coming at the end of the word which you are breaking, then you have to break it on the suffix and then move on to the next line. So for clarity and to avoid any kind of awkward situation and confusion, we use our hyphens for the line break carefully and attentively. Now, another rule is that you never put the first or last letter of a word at the end or beginning of a line, and do not put two-letter suffixes at the beginning of a new line. For example, lovely. Do not separate in a way which leaves ly beginning a new line. It means if you are at the end of the line and your word is lovely, you do not have to write ly at the next line because it will be very much awkward and wrong. You can break it like here, L-O-V-E-L-Y. This is how you do it. And this is wrong. You have to take E with the next line. Now, here are some more words. Evaluate, separate only on either side of the U. Do not leave the initial E at the end of a line. So if you leave one letter like this or two unconventional, unusual letters at the next line, then the reader will have trouble reading your written message. Now, students, here is your worksheet. And what are we talking about in the worksheet? This will be attached with your resources. After attending this lesson carefully, students who are watching on YouTube, the resources will be shared in the description, and students who have joined us on Zoom class, you can get that also. So the worksheet has 5 parts. Part 1 or part A, you have to insert hyphens where necessary in the following sentences, and they are having compound adjectives as we talked about. Part 2, you have to separate the compound nouns, join them together. In the part 3, we will work with prefixes and suffixes. Part D will be about numbers and fractions, and the last part will be about clarity and avoiding ambiguity. So you add hyphens where necessary to avoid confusion in these sentences. So by solving this worksheet, you can clearly understand that how the practical usage of hyphen is going to work, and you have to practice this worksheet a lot. It's okay if you get the wrong answers. You can always ask your teacher, check that again and reattempt. Thank you so much. This was all about today's lesson. If you have any kind of question from Zoom class, you can ask me straight away. Yes, is everything clear, students? All right, that's very good. So let's give a very quick recap. The SLO was about hyphen conventions, where we learned different rules and conventions about using our punctuation mark hyphen, which is very much important in our grammar. So when we are writing something, we need to be very much careful about the usage of hyphen, not only in joining words, but also when we are moving towards the next line due to the shortage of space or at the end of the line. So if you have this kind of situation, I've told you with examples that how you can do it, and also all these different scenarios and rules that we saw about compound adjectives, compound numbers, numbers and fractions, and so on. So I hope that the SLO is very much clear. There are a lot of different conventions that you can look up on the internet. You have to practice them with different activities available, and you can also solve your worksheet and then check it through different tools to get your right answers. I would request you to read more and read words that are having hyphens, mark them and see their usage, how it is used in your grammar. Thank you so much for listening. This is all about today's lecture. I'll meet you in the next lecture, lecture number 4, in the next video. Take care of yourselves. Till then, Allah Hafiz.